Hey, how you guys? Excuse me. Wow, how you guys doing? I get all of a sudden ribbit. You know what I'm saying? It was like, how you guys doing, man? It's Joe D, and welcome to Shiver Beer 428. I am here. We have Bum here with us. Mark is still on vacay. He, enjoying. He might or might not jump in. We'll see. He said if he could, he would. But thank you very much. We have Andrew in the chat. If you are, whoops, darn it, I accidentally. I'll post a link in the chat, and if you do want to jump in live on video, then let me know, so I can post it in there for you, and then you can jump in.
And click on it as quick as you can, Andrew,
Yeah.
so it can be deleted.
Yeah, because it will be deleted soon. So welcome if you were one of the people that happened to see that 5-hour marathon that we had this weekend.
That was great.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So
I did too.
A few people enjoyed what was that? What was it? A milk stout that I had.
Yeah.
That left hand. Everybody loved that in the chat. They're like, "Whoa, he's pounding that down."
Yeah, you did. You crushed it pretty good, man.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm off from work tonight because I worked.
Okay.
I worked the shift last night. My boss said he's working the construction site that I was supposed to go to tonight. So I brought up out of the basement, out of my visit from Total Wine a month or two back, a Festus Rot Gut.
Festus Rot Gut, wow.
And then I think Bum or someone here in the chat had this one a while, 8-bit.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. I thought someone had a can of 8-bit.
Hey, Rod.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? Thought I crashed the party tonight.
Yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I guess we had, from what I'm hearing, one of your typical shows. Your shows can go pretty long.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, the other night I saw you were on like 5 hours. I think I saw the like, is Joe going for the record now or what?
That is our longest recorded show. Not intentionally. That was not intentional at all.
Were you guys all drinking that night? Because you get the 5-hour level, all kinds of things are off the rails on our show usually. You're on that long.
I literally got home from work and I was still in my uniform shirt, and another guy that was in the chat, he got on video. He's like, "Yeah, go get a beer, damn it! You're home from work already." Yeah. So anyway, he twisted my arm through the chat and like, "All right, I'll be right back." Anyway, I held up this one left-hand milk stout that everyone just went nuts over.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I had a huge
mug, yeah,
mason jar, and I poured it into that, and oh man, that went down good. I'm buying more.
Yeah, that went down. That was one of those. It definitely not planned. It just kind of kept going, and yeah, there was beer involved in that one. So, and then I ended up on that show. I ended up sampling some older storage beers that I had, and those didn't go so well.
Bad juju there.
Yeah, those did not go well. Had one that went really well. You might not guess which one of the beers that I had. I had one from a craft brewer, from a home brewer, and then I had hey, how you doing, Tom? And then I had a couple from big breweries, and you'll never guess which one was the best. Yeah,
the home brew one.
Yeah, the home brew, man. The home brew. Our friend of the show, Barrick, he had sent me that beer, and I aged it. I don't know that he's ever aged his beer a year, but aged it in the fridge a year. It was really good, man.
And it was an IPA, Rod. It was he calls it a Citra Bomb, and
yeah.
It aged for a year. I was almost hoping Barrick would jump in tonight so you could tell him about it.
Yeah, I still have the cap right here, so I can at least show him the
cap.
Yeah, the cap is in perfect condition, and I have a cap of the Trogue still, that natural disaster. So
what was the ABV on that one?
You know, I'm not sure. I think he might say that it's somewhere around a 5, but I'm not sure.
Oh wow, it still held well that long. Wow.
It held up so well down to the last little inch or two of the glass.
Yeah.
It still had a nice little head on it.
So everybody says like you got to drink these IPAs within like 2 months, 3 months. Or they were designed. They weren't going to be drinking that early either. So, but I've had some that were a year old and they were fine.
Yeah, you know, you're right too. That style was made to originally last, right?
Right.
So yeah, you're right. You know, when you think about it, but you know, nowadays we want that freshness, and that's what we're typically talking about. You know, the beer will make it, but you know. Is it still going to be hoppy and have that freshness to it? You know, so that's and the IPAs we consume now are typically brewed that way. They're brewed to be consumed within 3 months, not even a 6-month shelf life like most of our beers. But
and for the hardcore people, 37 days.
Yeah, for the hardcore, it is definitely
37 days.
Yeah, it's definitely a calendar month.
For like a double IPA, yeah. For maximum freshness, 37 days.
I'll have to keep that in mind then if I get some IPAs then.
Yeah, don't drink it on the 38th day, Andrew.
If it's like a wet hop or a one of those fresh hop sort of things, then you definitely that's like Bum said, it's definitely the hardcore. I mean, And the purists, you know what? What about on your end, Rod? I don't hear, in the beginning when I first started doing my beer reviews, and I used to really tout that I was just a blue collar everyday working man, and I don't know jack about beer. I just happen to make some videos people watch, and there would be people that would grill me, the hardcore. I mean, the pinky ups of the craft beer world. The purist would get really fired up about how you cleaned your glass. Like some of them were hardcore about using salt to clean your glass. All these different methods of glass cleaning was all the buzz back then. I don't hear jack about glass cleaning now.
No, I don't really hear anything along those lines. I know some of the guys, they get hit on things like how they pour their beer. Yeah. They said they get comments like, you got too much head on it, you're pouring it the wrong way. And I don't get any of those type of comments because I bartended when I was back in college. But I don't get a lot of the purist one. The only thing I get sometimes is some of the guys that are a little bit more into the BJCP stuff. And that still gets down to being some opinions. You put 3 BJCP judges together, they're all going to have a difference somewhere because it gets subjective. So you're not going to always get 100% agreement from a lot of them anyway.
Those are that's an official judge, right?
It's an official judge, but it's like 3 judges at a boxing match too.
Yeah, true. And look how that goes. Right? And there are different sanctions, and so that was a good point. Yeah, because I'm glad you brought that part up because for people that don't know, that's an actual legitimate kind of, what would you call it, a pro beer judge? Like that's
I mean, it's a certification mostly for home brewers, but it's like a judge to be able to learn enough about beer that you can actually judge and be able to tell different beers apart and different styles. And
who I think who might actually have that certification is Zach, because Zach, he might actually have that. He might have, or maybe at one time was certified as as a true judge, because he was a beer blogger before he opened the brewery.
Zach out in Denver, right?
I think if you're definitely doing judging, obviously if you want to do that, that's definitely a thing, because you get that, or you get like the Cicerone, and the Cicerone covers a little bit more, but Cicerone gives you more of a consultant type area to move into as well. If you become like an advanced or a master of Cicerone, you have different options available.
Bum thought we were talking about porn. You know what? If you're going down that road, it probably does refer to something
blown off the rails.
Yeah, BJs. Yeah, that
This train's off the rails.
Yeah, you could probably. Yeah, that one could go.
Interpret that however you want to.
Yeah, that could go. If
Make
you're
your own
thinking that-
definition.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're thinking that, I hadn't thought that way yet, but the minute you said it, I'm like, there are going to be some BJCP videos out there soon enough. Members only $19.99 right now, right? What are you drinking now, Andrew?
I think I'm going to crack open this Festus rot gut that I grabbed out of the basement.
Yeah, I heard you say that. So is that a Christmas beer?
No, it's a black wheat ale. I mean, I was just walking through Total Wine one day, and this is back when I got gobs of overtime on a paycheck, and I was like, I got to spend some money on some beer. I bought this a couple months ago. See,
how was that spelled? I'm having a problem finding that one.
Festus
and
rot gut.
Oh, rot. Okay, I thought you said rock.
Rot gut.
Okay.
Okay. Zombie Cowboy by Jason Aaron and Tony Moore. And it's got kind of like looks like a zombie Western.
Yeah, I got you.
Cartoon on the label here.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, well, huh? Okay, I was even getting Urban Dictionary and all this stuff, and I was like, wow, this is they went deep on this one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's made by Arcade Brewery. There's their cap.
Okay. So it looks like it's classified as a dark ale.
Look, we got a little bit of bubble going on here.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that.
No
Whoa.
spillage. Whoa,
See?
whoa, whoa.
You got a beer emergency happening there.
I got a towel. I'm good.
Yeah, you got to.
That's what she said.
Whoa,
Look at that.
A little bit too aggressive here.
Yeah, you got a little up.
A volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of volcano going on here.
Wow.
Now that we've let that one out of the bag there are some purists, Rod, that do say that when you have a not quite as severe as Andrew has right now, but some of those BJCP judges do say that it's actually good to have a beer that when you pour it has a nice even a 3-finger head, 4-finger head in some cases,
Yeah, because I mean, if you have a head on it, you release the proteins and the gases.
Yeah.
And there's actually a trick you can do. If you take a beer and you pour it with no head, and you pour one with the head, take a piece of paper towel and put it into one, and you'll see the one with no head explode out of the glass. And that's what happens in the stomach. And if you do it with the one with head, it doesn't happen. Yeah. So that's why people get bloated when they don't get a head on their beers.
Yeah. So if you pour your beer and it looks like this glass of water, no head at all, you know what I'm saying? And you think that's the perfect pour, you're really messing up, because just like Rod said, you could take a paper towel, put it in that beer, and it's going to just like turn into just this big foamy mess and like a volcano. And that's what's going to happen in your gut when you drink that. So if you're drinking beer and you say, I don't want to have a beer because I don't want to get bloated. Yeah. Now beer's heavy. It's still carbonated. It's still going to, fill you up, but not as bad as if you're pouring that so slow and so tilted the whole time you pour, and you end up with something that looks like this glass of water. As a matter of fact, some people do say it's like this glass of water, some of those Coronas and Budweisers and stuff, but it does definitely help if you do have a nice, at least a 2-finger head on there, because like Rod said, you're releasing those gases, mostly from the beer, and then you put a paper towel in that beer, and nothing else happens.
Like Downy, quicker.
Yeah. So it's one reason why. Well, like that. I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks back. I think, I don't know on which show, but I put on a Hawaiian guy that was just chugging beer, and I've gone back and watched him. and he is involved in the malt liquor, or was involved in the malt liquor community. And he always has those huge heads on there, and he lets them go down. And that's one way he's able to just really chug those beers once he pours them in a glass like that. So in any case, sorry about all that, but just seeing Andrew like.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, over in Europe, from what I've read, some of the pubs, they'll pour it down there and they'll get that big head, and then they'll let it settle. Then they'll finish pouring and they'll let it settle. And they said usually if you're in a pub, you expect 2 or 3 minutes before you get your beer.
Yeah, that
all ran off correctly until you get that final head at the end.
Yeah, they have a time, right? Like, so you order a beer and you pretty much don't expect to get that beer for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like the time when you, and that's the difference, man, when you go to a proper pub, especially on like a Guinness pour. Typically, that's how most of us get a Guinness. You order it, and that's part of the whole process. You watch them, pour it and then let it sit. You watch all the cascading happen right there at the tap. And then they'll pour some more and let that sit. That's kind of how all that happens. It's kind of cool. Sorry, Andrew, man. I didn't want to take away from you.
That's all right.
But those two things happened. We talked about official beer judges, and then you had this humongous Mount St. Helens pour. So, yeah. See, like that's not
beer now.
Yeah, it's good now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slowly kind of gonna get it all in glass.
What's also nice about that is you will get, a lot of the nose on that beer is going to be retained every drink. So, it hides.
You can smell the alcohol in this, though, right off the bat.
And this is a 8% beer.
Yep.
Hey, Joe, it might sound horrible, but you know what really chaps my ass?
Oh, hell, I've heard that before. Yeah.
Say you order like a nitro beer, like a drought, and then they walk up with already cracked. You're like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You want that? You want to crack it? Yes, because I don't think they trust you because they get crack it, go everywhere if you don't pour it at the right time and everything.
Yeah.
I think legally they have to crack it open.
Well, yeah, part of being a beer server is they can't give you that not opened. They have to crack it. Yeah, that's part of being a server. So you'll always get a beer open. They have to open it. That's like part of how that's part of the law for them on their side. Yeah, they have to crack. So they'll always at least if it's a can, they're always gonna at least do that and give it to you, or crack that bottle open and give it to you. They'll but they have to open that bottle.
Now that you say that, everything I've ever gotten can was cracked open already.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just accentuating on the nitro.
Yeah, you would hope that they're going to be a little more sensitive with the nitro. They're better off asking you if you do want it in a glass, so they could at least pour it in there. I mean, but no, that's part of being I think every state's going to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple bars here that you can buy it to go, which I don't know if that's a law or they just do it on the back end, but it's like they buy a 6-pack of beer to take home. I don't think you're supposed to be doing that, but
yeah,
it's Kentucky, so It's one of those community type bar things.
Yeah, there is that, right? Now this I was asked, or this came up somehow as well a little while back. I'm pretty sure, like, if a bar serves food up until like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or something like that, that like you can have your child at the bar with you as long as they serve food or something like that. How's that go?
They serve food. I know at some of the bar restaurants you're able to have the child there. We have one place that's like kind of a arcade type restaurant. It's called GameWorks. It's kind of a rival to Dave and Buster's.
Okay.
And they can have kids in there till 10 o'clock because they serve food and everything. And then after that, the kids have to go home. Yeah. But like a regular just bar, I know you can't have the kids in there usually. So. Okay.
I didn't know if there was.
It probably matters by the owner, I believe. Like some of them let you have dogs and stuff, or.
Well, state law, like we can't. State laws here. We just had a debate on this on one of the other groups on Facebook. But state law, like in Ohio, because I'm right on the border. It's a state law. You can't have pets where you serve food or drink. Although some will allow it, like on patios.
Oh, so you can't have pets either.
Usually you can't, yeah.
Yeah, because it came up in reference to, well, craft beer bars, like breweries, and there's some where I've seen, underage children there, like during daylight hours, sort of thing, because a lot of them do serve food, but in a proper bar where they have a little bit of everything and not just beer, I've in a dive bar situation, I don't think I've ever seen kids, but in any case, man, sorry, I keep interrupting that beer there, Andrew. I apologize.
Oh, it's good.
It's good.
Now that's my kind of description. That's right.
Yeah, you're a man. After Andrew, right now, he's very proud of you, man.
And you just made me look good, Andrew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with my poor ass descriptions.
I mean, I'm not going to argue. I mean, this is better than like Budweiser or any of the other big boys.
Let me show this. Let me show the Untapped at least on this one.
Lightwise, this is like that milk stout that I had. It's like using motor oil, and there's no light coming through.
Yeah,
I mean, literally.
Dark ales are kind of tough, right? Because sometimes they're like a Dr. Pepper. They're dark, but you can still, see like a little red tinge to them around your edges or something. And then sometimes they're just really dark, like a stout or a porter. Or something.
Yeah. Well, according to this, it's a black wheat ale.
Yeah.
Black wheat.
So it's good.
Wheat ale with dark malts.
Probably, yeah.
You don't see many wheat ales.
I was going to say that might be the first time I've ever heard of that style.
Yeah.
No, I've had other.
I've heard of dark wheat. I don't know if that would be the same as black wheat.
Yep. Arcade is out of Chicago.
Yeah, why don't they just call it buckwheat? I mean, you're tap dancing around the whole damn thing. Just call it, you're over here. Yeah, that's a black wheat.
Like, no, don't do
that. Just put it out there already, man. Just get it over with.
So the beer will have you ote.
Yeah.
Ote.
Yeah. Just put a big ote on it and everything. They might be able to use that now, right? Because isn't the copyright on that sort of thing over? Like,
I don't think there was ever a copyright on that phrase. But buckwheat didn't actually say ote. That was Porky. That's one of those things that's kind of gotten twisted in time.
Years ago, here in St. Paul, there was a local neighborhood dive bar called Little Rascals, and years ago, when this series was still being made back in what was it, the 20s and 30s or something like that, they actually did, I think, a couple of their shows in this one bar, and years later, the bar owner actually had an image of I can't think of the character's name, but he had like the beanie on his head. Can't think of his name though.
Spanky.
Thank you. The bar name changed to Spanky's, and he had put on the mirror behind the bar an image of Spanky. And I guess one of his kids came in one time and says, "No, you got to take that out because that's not." You're not paying it for royalties or something like that. So,
so that I'll get to Rod J, man. What do you have, my friend?
I'm actually going to old school vintage version. So I got Bell's Third Coast Old Ale.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So this is barley wine, and this is one of the ones you pour. You don't get a head on really. So that's the other thing with heads. Sometimes you don't get them on certain styles.
Yeah,
and it's like one I wasn't really trying to pick up. It was kind of like one of my stores here. They put up emails when they get stuff in and they got on sale, and they got this in on a closeout. and it was like $12.99 a case.
Oh my God!
And
you are the bargain master.
I got it late at night, so well, I got to the dentist the next morning. I'll stop on the way to the office after the dentist. See if they have any. I got over there. They had 3 cases. Well, they had 4. Then one of the employees grabbed a case. And then I grabbed like 2, and then we left one for someone else. And one of the other guys working there split that to a 12-pack.
Pay for a whole 24 of them?
24, yeah. So I picked up 48 bottles for under $27 essentially.
And by the
time I got to the office, one case was already gone to 2 guys that worked there that split it.
Well, the funny thing is, somebody that works at that place probably said, "Ha ha! Look at this. We found a sucker who bought this old stuff." And we got rid of it. He doesn't know that he got something.
The guy that buys beer there, he's pretty familiar with it. It's just they have such a big warehouse and stuff. They have to move things out. And, with a barley one, it's 10.2%, so you can age it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's solid. And
oh, yeah.
I never knew barley wine was that strong. 10 too. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's stronger than that a lot of times.
Some are stronger than others, but yeah, they're it goes up and down in the style. Here, just for a reference, here is what that beer cost me here for a 6-pack of 12-ounce bottles.
Wow.
So just to put things in perspective for people, that if I go down to my local Total Wine, it's going to cost me $16 a 6-pack. So
that would have cost $64, $65 for 20.
Yeah.
So for that same case, that Rod's paying like 5 cents for, that's what you can't brew that beer that cheap, right?
No. I got people thinking I'm buying stuff from the syndicate here. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's like tied into the redneck mafia down there in Kentucky. Yeah,
he's dealing with the shiners back in the woods.
If anybody makes that TV show, I swear to God, you need to
freaking El Chapo over here.
Hey, Rod, I think we found you a cottage industry for on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
you can do beer.
I didn't know it cost Joe that much. I could have split that up and started putting it out in the street, man.
Yeah. You could be just. Yeah. What would they call that? Is that still moonshining? If you're.
Yeah, it's still moonshining.
Moonshining, right? Yeah. So.
Yep.
The guy out there, you need that Third Coast Old Ale. I got some.
Yeah. Hey, baby, I got something you need, man. I got what you need, right here, man. Trunk of the car, man. I got something you need. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But this is my first one from. This is a pretty smooth barley wine. It seems. You definitely get that dark flavor. You get the booziness. You feel that booziness in it. You feel that warmth hitting you. But it's smooth and strong. But you take it easy and slow with some of the barley wines.
Does it say when it was bought? Like how old is it? How old is it?
This was a 2015 edition, I believe.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah. So it's already smoothed out. They do a good job of selling a lot of their stuff. So that's why I had no fear about buying it, because I know how they do their warehouses and everything.
Right. Let me see. I'm trying to see. So if you're buying one right now that's on the shelf fresh, is it already a 16 version?
I think that I thought it was 2015 because I thought I looked on a website and they didn't make it since 2015, and that was the 10.2 version, I believe.
Oh,
I did just buy a bottle. I bought one bottle of it a few months ago. I saw it, and I bought one bottle. It's down in my basement, which I plan on keeping it there for a while, but I didn't check the date to see when it was brewed. I forget it. Is Bell's currently doing a brewed on date or a best by date? I forget.
I think they usually do a brewed on date. This one does say package 10/3/15, so it is
okay.
Yeah,
I bought one, like I said, a few months ago, and I don't remember for sure, but I'm guaranteed I looked at the date and nothing struck me as odd, which would tell me that it was a new one when I bought it. So,
yeah,
but I'd have to double check that though.
Yeah, on the bottom of the back, there's like a white space where they have the package date on it.
Right.
Now there's no red flag on Untapped.
Look at that, my check-in's right up there too.
There he is, right there, man. That's Rod J. So Rod J on Untapped for those of you who want to friend him. 42,000 ratings on here, 245 in the last 30. 10.2 ABV, 52 IBUs, 3.8 bottle caps. Pretty solid beer. Purity Solid Beer. I like the way on the mobile it gives you the friends rating too. I don't get a friends rating on here, but that's the the difference I noticed from just having posted my last review this weekend. I had to use my mobile, and it gave me both ratings, which I liked.
Oh yeah, the mobile gives you a little bit more stuff you could do for sure.
Yeah, lots of stuff. A lot of differences between the website and the app.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to say, like on those variants, like if you on the variants on that side when you pulled it up, Joe. See, there wasn't anything out there since 2015, so I don't think they made one for 2016. So the one that Bum probably has is probably the same one I have.
It could be. I'll have to check it.
Yeah,
it's no longer production by the brewery, so they made it. It's funny because I looked on their website. I think it says they do it every few years or something. I thought so.
Yeah, because see, I'm on the website and it doesn't say anything actually about them stopping making it or.
Sometimes when it says no longer in production, it means just for that year. Like
just for that year, right?
They can never replace that year.
Hey Tom, we'll get to you real quick, man, and then we'll jump into Bum's segment there. He's got a bunch of stuff too.
I'm drinking the Trill Water from Trillium. It was a collaboration with Stillwater and Trillium.
Ooh.
It is their Ghosts. Are their Goose.
Goose.
Goza.
Yeah, like what?
England Ghost Ale with Stonington sea salt, Chenin Blanc juice, dry halt with Nelson Sauvin in Motueka.
That's Trill Water.
Yeah. Hey Joe, I watched one of your reviews today. I noticed you were talking about stone fruit, and I didn't realize what stone fruit was either. I don't know if you know what it is now. But supposedly stone fruit is it's any like peaches, how they have like the pit in the middle. Peaches, cherries, apricots, how they have the pits. I guess that's stone fruit. Those are the kind of fruits that would like fall in the what stone fruit would be.
Is that a new term, or I've never heard it before?
I mean, you get a lot of like reviewers saying stone fruit, like different beers, how they accentuate how it
tastes. Or is that just something that a word somebody just invented?
No, it's around. But
now I thought we did. Did I bring that up in a review or because I remember that discussion happening?
Yeah, I watched one of the reviews. I sent you one of the beers, and I remember you saying that, and I didn't realize what it was either. So I looked it up, and it's one of the fruits with pits. Like cherries, fruit, apricots, pears.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, those like stone fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Maybe that's a term that's used. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if you use a pitted fruit a lot, then I guess it would need a name, right? Because you're like, you want to have a name for the whole group. So I guess it would just be different kinds. It makes sense, different kinds of stone fruit, and then. If you're in the fruit business, like if you're in the, I don't know, if you grow cherries or if you have peach trees or something, then you probably are well aware. Farmers, maybe, if you're probably well aware that that's stone.
Some people do call it a pit, though.
Yeah, like pitted fruit, right? Just pitted fruit, right?
Same thing.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's just maybe it's one of those old terms.
It's like dark fruits, like people get confused on that sometimes.
Or what is it in Scotland or something? That part of the world where they refer to you as like 34 stone or something like that, like for your weight.
In Europe, yeah.
Which I kind of like actually because I'm much lighter than stone. I think you can actually reference me in the 100s in stone, which I like a lot. Now we covered that with Zach. Zach, they use over there in Australia, they use instead of something having 300 calories, it has 300 energy, and I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. I like that. It's energy level. It's like a video game. Its energy levels of 300. I'm like,
power up.
That's a lot. That just sounds much better, doesn't it? Like, if we're gonna get political correct with everything now, get rid of calories, man. We're going to start that here on this show, right? Let's get rid of calories. You know, these beers that have 300 calories, no, they've got 300 energy, right? That just sounds like.
Then we call beer energy drink.
Yeah, then it's I think we can get Coca-Cola behind this, right? All your big energy drink producers.
Walk into the office. Are you drinking a beer? No, I'm drinking an energy drink.
Energy. Whoa. Come on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get 5 Hour Energy in the Gatorade.
Yeah.
If he has a Monster, I'm allowed to have my drink.
Yeah. Come on, right? You know? It's a non-alcoholic energy drink, man. Come on. You know. Oh, by the way, we got King Dom Down and Alex in the chat, and Ishmael's in there as well. And so the Trill water, you really like it, Tom?
Yeah, it's like a, I don't know, it tastes like a ghost. It definitely, you taste the sea salt in it, you taste a little bit of the lime juice. It's a decent beer. It comes in at 6%. It definitely wasn't cheap. Anything they sell in bottles, they used to do everything in bottles, but then they went to cans. Everything they do special, or like certain stouts, they do in bottles. Okay. And this bottle was like $14 for the bottle.
Yeah, so you're not paying 5 cents for that bomber right there.
No, not at all. No.
You didn't get some special $2.99 bottle of.
You get 50% off.
Yeah, man, I love when total. Yeah.
That directed my way.
Yeah. Some kind of Trillium needs to go down to Kentucky is all that needs to happen.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of prices, though, did you guys see that Ballast Point is dropping the prices on some of their beers?
No, I didn't.
That's good. They need to.
But it's designed to try to get people into the upper tier. Like, so they'll still have Sculpin at like $13.99 or whatever, a 6-pack. But like their Bonito, I think it's $9.99 a 6-pack, and then some of their other ones that are lighter.
The most basic ones, okay.
So it's like, oh, you should try this one. We're going to keep this one at a higher price.
So they'll probably lower it $1, and then that gets you. Because I even noticed like a 6-pack of Bud is right around $7 now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hymns for $10.
Yeah, I'm done. Everything's creeping up. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
Which I did just get a 6-pack of Bonita for $5.99, but that's a whole different story.
Right. Okay. Let's get into the bum segment there, man. The craft malt liquor segment, or the malt liquor segment.
Yeah, I will finish up what I've been nursing the whole time here. Got a Yingling. This is my fourth straight week.
Ooh, Oktoberfest.
Fourth straight week of Oktoberfest on Share Beer. This is Yingling Oktoberfest.
Wow, Yingling October. I never even. Okay.
And this little mug that I have here, I just found this. It was kind of lost in my house for the last 20 years. I forgot I had it, and I discovered it under and behind something and washed it out. And it's like a mini mug. We were talking about head on beer before.
Yeah.
I knew that. I was just wondering if this was going to hold the entire contents. This is a 12-ounce glass, and that's it. There is not room for any head at all on this beer.
Yeah.
So it's strange that they made a mug that's exactly 12 ounces. And the other thing that's odd about it is the logo is not on one side or the other, but in the very front of the mug, which you never see. But this thing's at least 20 years old.
Hey, I got a question for you, Bum.
Mm-hmm.
So in your background over your left shoulder, is that like a cassette tape holder? Are those all like cassette tapes?
Oh, that's I'm the master of obsolete formats. Those are.
I've got some of them too in the attic.
I got some in the basement. I think I both had those out there.
Those what you're seeing there are part of my collection of VHS tapes.
Oh, VHS holder. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And to the right of that is an analog TV and a couple VCR DVD combos.
Nice.
So. I still actually have a dual cassette deck you know, for
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got a
for
couple of those in the basement too.
yeah, I still have it. I don't have any tapes, but I do have the cassette deck. There's Billy D, man.
There's Billy D. And this is a special night for the Malt Liquor Report. For anybody who tuned in to Joe's Labor Day Jerry Lewis telethon Sunday night, we had a little sneak preview of what was going to be on here. We have a sponsor tonight. Tonight's sponsor is from Founders, believe it or not. I'm sure probably everybody on here has seen this. It's called DKML, and there's no official documentation of what it stands for, but apparently it stands for Dick Kicker Malt Liquor. and I don't know if you can see, there's a guy on there. Can you see that?
Is that the Dick Kicker?
Well, no, if you look at the look of distress on his face, I don't think you can get that in focus. If you see it, it looks like a guy who definitely forgot to wear his cup.
Yeah, and that's hopefully that's not no spoiler alert for Game of Thrones there at all. Just saying.
So
any diehard Game of Thrones people.
What are you talking about, Joe?
That anyway, that sort of thing happened in Game of Thrones. So
this is the first time that the sponsor of the Malt Liquor Report is actually part of the news. Now they are Founders is billing this as the first malt liquor that's worthy of a glass. So I am pouring it into a Founders glass. And I will tell you that I have had this before. I bought a 4-pack. So.
And it looks proper. I mean, it looks good.
It looks good. It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looking fine.
Yeah, just as I remember it from 2 weeks ago. Wow. Now, before I get to the report, I will just give a quick review of this beer. Like I said, it's 14% and it's bourbon barrel aged malt liquor, if you can believe that. And as far as I know, it's a pretty safe bet that it's the first one of its kind.
Yeah, it's got to be a safe bet. I mean
Yeah. And
what do they barrel? What's that? The KBS.
Here's, I'm gonna show the Untapped on this really quick, Bum. So that you've got you've got basically 17,000 ratings on here. 9,400 here, practically 9,500 in the last 30 days. Very popular beer. 14.2% ABV, 38 IBUs, 3.72 bottle caps on that one. So it's a
I gave it 3.5. Really, what I get from this, now I'm not a bourbon drinker. The only bourbon that I ever drink is any beers that are barrel aged, and obviously when you drink barrel aged beers, it's mostly stouts and stuff. So I'm used to associating getting that bourbon flavor with, the stouts. And in this case, you're getting a whole lot of bourbon and not much else.
Do you get the vanilla or the wood or anything?
Little bit of wood, not much else.
And so I'm picturing in my mind that malt liquor taste with a bourbon little hint to it, and that just doesn't sound good to me at all.
It's like one hell of a Boilermaker.
Yeah, it's. I will say, Greg actually reviewed it this week, and Greg said his thing kind of matched what I think. He goes, basically, if you want this replicate the same taste, get yourself a 40 of malt liquor and just pour some bourbon into it. That's what you get.
Okay.
I mean, for what Founders set out to accomplish, they did a good job.
Do you think it might have been a popularity that some people were having, especially some of the younger people with malt liquor, that said, hey, let's try and toss something out there for those guys?
I personally feel that the Founders has been watching the Malt Liquor Report on Share Beer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's actually, yeah.
Do you think they'll make it? Do you think they'll make it again?
That's a good question. I don't know, but It's I would say that everyone should try it at least once. It's not horrible. It's certainly not horrible, but you know, you're gonna get kicked, as the bottle says. You're gonna get kicked where you most expect it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to
And
transition, what's that, Joe?
On their website, it says its availability is August, and that's it. So
yeah. I've seen it around here, you know, here and there. It's not like it's rare. It can be found. But this will probably be the only time that I say this. This is the only beer that I think I'll ever say that Greg reviewed and that the P. Glen, the outdoor malt liquor chairman, drank in the same week.
wow, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, after the P. Glen drank his DKML, Steel Worldwide in his next video cussed out the P. Glen for drinking a craft beer.
Yeah, because it's in the craft beer,
Right.
you know.
And I believe that he says what he usually says to the P. Glen. P. Glen lives in Florida, and I believe Steel Worldwide gave his usual thing to him, which is, "I hope you get mauled by a pack of alligators."
Oh my God.
So, but anyway, to the rest of the malt liquor report, since we last were following the 40-40s by time Brews 40 turns 40 challenge, Fear was in the lead. Not that this is a race, it's just a challenge. Fear is up to 40, number 27. He just posted video number 27 the other day. But one of the interesting things from his recent videos was numbers 23 and 24, which he did in one video. Both of them were Old English, and he did numbers 23 and 24. And in the process of doing both of those, he was attempting to do the 800 Club Challenge, which is to drink 2 40s in 10 minutes. He failed at his attempt. It took him over 20 minutes to do it. But what made this very interesting was these were he counted this as numbers 23 and 24. These were two different Old Englishes. One was a West Coast, which is 7.8% and is marked on the label as being 7.8%. And the other is an East Coast Old English 800, which is 5.9%. And there's no ABV listed on the label. So who knew that there were two different, strengths of Old English depending on where you buy it at?
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to know really, other than yourself. You're our correspondent, our malt liquor correspondent.
I find that absolutely fascinating.
Yeah,
but
well, I guess it's kind of like back in the day. You had your, your import, like we talked about earlier, our imports and exports of certain beer, and they did have different strains to them. So,
right. But I wouldn't think that as a beer brewed in the United States and just distributed, you would think, just like you were saying about the consistency of Bud Joe, how no matter where you buy it, it's consistent. You would think something like a malt liquor would be the same strength everywhere. But
maybe because I don't know. I'm making excuses for it, and I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. You have those states where you have 3-2 beer. Does that make any sense? Maybe if it's
and in Florida, home of the P. Glen, you cannot buy a 40, so you have to buy a 32 ouncer down there.
Interesting.
But the only other thing left in the 40-40s challenge, Loot Bag Larry is up to video number 15. Another player that I didn't realize was involved is SD 40 ounce. He's up to video number 8, and trailing behind is Stefan Malturin with only 3 videos. But
3 videos, okay.
They all have until next July to complete the challenge, and
okay.
I think it's safe to say that Fear is going to be completing the challenge before Brews 40 even turns 40 and a third, or 39 and a third.
Yeah.
Hey, Bum, you said something that caught my railroad geek attention. The SD 40 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
SD 40 in the railroad world is a locomotive built by General Motors.
Oh, okay. I have a feeling that for the guy named SD 40 ounce, I have a feeling that's a coincidence.
No. What it is he's a railroad employee.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll take your word.
The railroads literally have been topsy-turvy the last 10 or 12 years.
So, and that's it. Other than there is no action in the Lone Wolf 420 brown bag fight. There's been no action on either end of that. So,
I mean, no drama there. What's up?
Well, Lone Wolf 420 made that challenge to brown bag. Doing the 640 challenge. Brown bag has a month to respond, and there's still 2 weeks left.
Oh, okay. Well,
so.
He's probably getting something together pretty creative.
Yeah, he's forming his battle plan. So,
oh my God,
so that is the malt liquor report for
it in a very good one. I appreciate it. When we had looked, yeah, I wish I could remember the guy's name, the big Hawaiian guy that we had showed that one day on the show. Because I have watched a couple of his videos now, I have to admit. And I didn't realize that he's kind of familiar with that malt liquor world, but he's not part of it because they won't quite let him in because he pours his stuff in a glass.
Well, the video that you watched, and I had never seen him before you punched it up that night, I believe the video was called A Challenge to Steel Worldwide.
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how it even came up, right? Yeah, we were looking it up, and he's just a beast. I mean, the guy, you talk about 240s in under 10 minutes, did you say?
For the 800 Club, yeah.
Yeah, for the 800 Club, he's done that many times over. I mean, as a matter of fact, he's the video I watched just earlier, well, yesterday I think I watched it, but I mean, he poured. The equivalent of 240s. He took this huge boot and he took a 6-pack of PBR tall boys and poured 5 of them in there, and then he adds it up, and he's like, yeah, he's a man of not many words, very few words, and this is about 240s. And he's just fascinating to me. You know what I'm saying? He just hardly speaks, and this guy gets tons of hits on his videos.
I'm gonna have to watch him. I didn't find him in all my exploring. I never found him.
A beast. I mean, this guy just crushes beer, man. But I guess because he taps the glass, like his regular drinking glass, he taps it and does all those sort of things. But he says that they don't accept him because he doesn't drink out of the bottle with label out, he says.
He does not follow the blueprint, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't follow, so he's not part of that true community.
And he dwarfs the hell out of the foam, so that automatically eliminates him.
In this one, he actually was doing like me and Rob were talking about earlier. He like really aggressively pours that foam, and then he was taking all the sweat off of his nose and then trying to put his finger.
That's like a high school trick. I remember that. Okay.
And then he's killing the foam like that, and then he's licking this finger afterwards. So every time he did it, I was like, oh. You know what I'm saying? And he would just do it. And then he would say a few words, you know what I'm saying? And then he's, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, God. You know what I'm saying? And he's like sitting in this, I don't know, outdoor patio setting or something. And so it's hot. You just can imagine how much humidity is happening in Hawaii, for Christ's sake. And he's wiping his nose, putting it in the beer. And I understand licking the foam off your finger, but it was just like all over your nose. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people have nasty blackheads on their nose, and I was just like, all kinds of stuff was running through my mind. And then he would do it again and put it in the beer again, and I'm like, oh my God, So for
five tall boys, it would be 240s.
Yeah,
80 ounces.
And just
it is 80 ounces.
Just like Bum described, it was literally to the top of his glass. I mean, he couldn't have fit another, ounce in there. But yeah, he was kind of fascinating because he's just this big guy, and he's just a beer crushing monster. You know what I'm saying? Just an animal. God, I wish I knew his name. But for some reason, you know how YouTube, you're watching something else, and then it just puts up these random videos for you. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, he came up during my little. I was actually watching food reviews, for Christ's sake, and then he came up, and then I watched a couple of his videos, then went back to watching food reviews, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff on what's it like to live in the Philippines videos came up. What was that all about? You know what I'm saying?
That's weird.
His name is Kauhi63. Kauhi 63.
63. Yeah. Okay. Is he still making videos? Because those I saw were kind of old.
Let me do a quick check here. His most recent video was 3 months ago. Then the one before that was 8 months ago. So
okay. Yeah.
He still could possibly be alive.
He could possibly still be alive.
Man, the guy could crush some beer. I mean,
Rest in peace, Fee, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, he was just, and he just takes it, you know what I'm saying? And then, just the biggest burp.
His most recent video is called the 10-minute warning challenge. God knows what that is.
I have to say, man, the Hawaiian beer guys are fantastic. We used to have the two beer queers. I don't know if they're still around or not, but those guys were wildly popular as well in Hawaii. I mean, they were way bigger than I ever was, but in Hawaii, you know what I'm saying? And they used to have like their own events and stuff like that. It was crazy. But yeah, those guys they were animals too. They were a lot of fun. I made me want to go to Hawaii just to hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were pretty cool. But yeah, that's the Hawaiian guys that I've known so far online that do beer are just animals, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fun. So
no door foam in the DKML.
No door foam. That's good. That's good. I don't have no foam in mine either.
Is that stuff harsh? Oh, is it harsh?
Yeah, this is not barrel aged. Filtered water. But I do have it in my craft milk jug here. I repurposed my milk jug. So
it's aged in milk jugs.
Yes, it is aged in a glass milk jug. There you go. So it's but anybody have a rant or a rave for us on our way out here?
Oh, I got a rave. I got a delivery from Amazon today.
Ooh, nice.
Two tubes of RTV silicone and a secondary thermometer.
Whoa. Single guy in the dark getting tubes of silicone, man. I don't know, man.
Not sure where that was going.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm in the process of building a smoker.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't.
Back to the corn again.
No, I'm just kidding, man. I know exactly what he's doing. He's putting together that real nice smoker he got. I just got to give him a hard time about that one. That was not a good look.
I'm just waiting for the Nomex fire rope to come now. That's supposed to be here next week sometime.
Okay, so you still got a little ways to go before that's ready for smoking.
Right. All I've got to do literally is bolt up the firebox, and before I do that, I got to get the Nomex gasket. I got half of what I need right here, and
Andrew, do you have to season that? Is that something you're going to have to season first?
You got to season it just like a cast iron skillet, and in the directions and told by others on a forum on Facebook, you can use the PAM in the can and just spray the interior of the smoking barrel in the top part of the firebox, because there's a grate in there, and you can do like direct searing over the coals.
Okay, cool. So he got a really nice smoker from he's not your brother-in-law, right? Is he?
No, it's my sister's boyfriend.
Yeah, sister's boyfriend. So
yeah, we were at dinner for my nephew's wife, and he came down just before we got done with dinner. He's like, "What kind of smoker were you looking for again?" And I'm like, "Okay, go to Lowe's website. Looking at this one here, Oklahoma Joe Highland." 10 minutes later, you can go pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah. We have Brian in the chat there. Said
a $300 smoker.
Yeah.
No hands down. No questions. The only catch is when they come back up, I got to make them a brisket. And I'm looking at between 15 and 20 hours on the smoke.
Well, if you're going out, and you're trying to score points with this, your new girlfriend, right? You're with your girlfriend. You want to try to get along with girlfriend's 6'8" brother. I think a little $300 investment's like probably not a big deal, right? You're like, yep. I'm going to score some points with this. What do you like? I'm getting you one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I need you on my side.
Well, here's the funny thing. He is about just shy of 3 feet shorter than me.
But he sounds like he's pretty wise. He's a wise man. He's not stupid. Yeah.
Well, he does sometimes, though. He does some crazy crap. He was out with my sister for dinner one time at this Chinese place, and he took a big spoonful of wasabi spicy mustard. I mean, a big tablespoonful, and that's how nuts this guy is.
Guilty.
Oh, you've done that too, Tom?
Done the same thing.
You've done that too, Tom?
I remember I was at the Chinese place, and I was like 16. I guess they make their own wasabi, so they weren't making it very strong. So I asked her if they could make more, and then they made more, and I guess they put like 4 times, 5 times the strength. And I didn't look very cool after that.
No doubt. Ugh.
One thing about wasabi is if you've never had it, plan on sweating like a stuck pig for a while.
So does anybody else have a rant or a rave for us on our way out?
I can give you a quick one. Today, I drove up to Erie, PA, which Rod will know where that is.
Mm-hmm. Right,
it's about 2.5 hours north of Pittsburgh. And yes,
that's a pretty good rant. That's a damn good rant. No, damn it, I had to go to Erie, man.
That is enough to piss you off.
Well, my rave part of this is that when I drive around, I do look for I do look for sports schedules when I drive around. Everybody knows that. And my rave is that I found the Steelers up north from Miller Lite today that would never ever find in Pittsburgh. This is unique to North. But my rant part of this is while in Erie, I stopped in a place called Lucky Louie's. And while I was in there, I bought a few beers and brought them back with me. And Joe, they had that Black Butte 29 in the bomber, and I saw it there, and I did not buy it because I've been spending so much money on beer lately.
Yeah, I know how that is.
I did not buy the Black Butte, and that's the first time I ever saw it available. And now I am kicking myself for not having bought it when I had the chance earlier today.
There's, I get the beer buying fatigue because these things aren't cheap, and so you get like, oh man, I can't buy another damn, I just spent, in the tally in your head just racking it up, you know what I'm saying? You're like, but there are certain beers that, like if I were to, when we go to Colorado, I'll definitely be looking for beers that I can't necessarily get here in Arizona. So, you know,
I'd
there's
like you to try the big.
You have to bite the bullet on them.
yeah, I mean, you know, I would have to, you know, the beer that I have had it once because I went to a friend's house who had a friend that had just come from east of the Mississippi and brought some Yingling. So that's the only way that I've had a real Yingling lager. Out of all these years of reviewing, I've always heard about Yingling. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those beers that, for me, because I never can get it, is like, wow, I just really would love to have it. And then the one that I had was pretty darn good. I think I would have that in the fridge all the time as a go-to. But yeah, that's, you know, for me that would be, you know, I'm looking forward to that trip so I can maybe ship some beer back.
Yeah.
Hey, what time of the day are you going out there?
Oh,
I'm leaving the next day. Actually, I changed my trip because I want to be there Saturday. You guys are drinking and stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely Saturday. I don't know the exact day right now, but
what time? You probably there, like 3, 4 o'clock.
I'd have to look. Right now, I just really want to get through this rant and raves and close this one out because we're long right now. So, A-Rod, what do you have, a rant or a rave for us?
I got a little bit of a, I guess it's kind of a rant, just because got into the dialogue earlier today with some people in one of the Facebook groups that I moderate and stuff, and it wasn't anything really horrible out of it, but it's got to a point where you have to say, is it time for there to actually be a legal definition of what is or what isn't a craft beer? And the post was about, it started out as a post about Golden Road, because one of our local stores, well, their national Kroger, had a display set up promoting them as the well-known unknown brewery of the month, as a kind of a craft micro type thing. And it's like, well, they're not a microbrewery anymore, technically, for following the definition by the Brewers Association to be a microbrewery. And then we were getting all different types of talk, and there's pictures, and it shows microbrews, one of the guys had shown. And you'd have things like Zima in there and some of these other ones that have been bought by AB and Bev. And it's kind of like no one has a legal definition out there. But at the same point, everybody says, well, look what the Brewers Association does. Well, the Brewers Association set a guideline. Are people going to hear by that, or are we not going to hear by it? We just need to make everything just beer and be done with it, because there's places not just like Kroger that put stuff out under microbrewery that aren't technically microbreweries, but there's restaurants that put it on their menu. There's bars that serve it up, say it's something microbeer when it's not. I just don't know where you go with it now. It's like, to a point that you just say everything is beer and the hell with the rest.
Yeah, yeah, it's, you know, I think that's one of those things where we just kind of, on your own, you're just gonna call, because you could define nowadays, you could define something to your blue in the face, and nobody's gonna care. You know,
well, that's the thing, is some groups they do, like some craft beer groups, like you don't post, like I wouldn't do a beer review and upload it to one of my groups if it was like Golden Road, because everybody says that's not a craft beer, it's over the definition of it. So I don't put those ones in there. Oh. I'll put in a regular beer review, but then I'll come back and I'll do like one of our local breweries, and I'll put that in there for the craft beer.
Well, there you go. You just described a specific group. I mean, you're going to have those niches where they have their definition, and that's fine. That's good. That's why they're that particular group. You know, there's other people that don't care for me. They don't care for my style, because I'm not necessarily, I don't poo-poo the big macros either. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk a little trash about them and stuff, but I still respect, like we talked about this weekend, I think, for a little while, like the scale that they make beer on is just insane. You know what I'm saying? And to make it all taste the same, you got to respect that, to me, in my opinion. Like it may be crap, but it tastes like the same crap everywhere. And that's insane, the level that Budweiser makes beer on. And the shirt that Bum is wearing, I mean, you know, those people, now they're not as big, but still, I mean, they have, you know, at least a handful. What does Coors Miller, they have, what, 3 breweries now or something? Are they up to 3, or are they back down to 2? But in any case, because I know they had one in Dallas area, Fort Worth. They had one in Fort Worth, one in Memphis, and then in, of course, in Colorado. But in any case, man, you know, to make a beer on that scale and have it all taste the same is insane. So I don't get too caught up in sort of those, for me, but certain groups do. They
Yeah,
love.
I know some groups are fighting like crazy over it. It's kind of like, I dare you show that beer, blah blah blah. Just like, well, in the end, it's all beer. It becomes a point of all this nitpicking after.
Yeah, it's like
but there's no definition that nobody wants to. Everybody said, look at the Brewers Association, but then they don't want to play by that definition. So
right, yeah, that's. Yeah.
I'm trying to find out what the guy happened here in Cincinnati that was suing Walmart over it. There's a guy that lost a lawsuit back in February, accusing Walmart of marketing craft beer and not really being craft beer. There's a lawsuit that's kind of still not settled yet.
Oh, yeah. Now, didn't he make that law? Isn't that lawsuit based on the Walmart beer?
Yeah, it was a beer that he bought from Walmart. I forgot which one did it under the Walmart name or whatever. But
I think it's that we've had it here. It's
Trouble Brewery.
Yeah, Trouble Brewery. Yeah, it's the Walmart beer, and they're marketing as craft beer. Right. And and
that's here in Cincinnati. That's why I'm trying to. I don't think it went to court yet because it happened in February. But it's kind of like I wonder what's going on with this case. If they threw it out or what. Because that is something that would establish a meaning of what craft beer is going to actually be now, possibly.
It could, yeah, and that would be a true legal definition, right? Yeah. Because it would have to be defined. I would kind of think so because they're contracting it through that small brewer.
Yeah,
and they're
Genesee was making a lot of it.
Genesee was too. Yeah, and the Brewers Association doesn't help itself out with it either because when it was $2 million for the barrels, everything was that way, and then all of a sudden Sam Adams got too big and said, "Okay, we'll make it $6 million so we can keep Sam Adams." So you're moving the line yourself. So who can trust you?
Well, but in any case, and I mean, look at us with the malt liquor report. They have their own snobbery, and you're like, really? Malt liquor has snobbery? You get.
But I will say though that their snobbery is done tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
it's like I've said, their snobbery is pro wrestling snobbery. The craft beer snobbery is real.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen guys get kicked out of groups and stuff, and it's like, really? Like, it's not that serious.
I mean, it's and that's what. Now, see, I danced around it a little bit, but there's people that haven't liked me in my style because I'm not like a craft beer purist per se. I don't follow the book, if you will. I don't follow the line. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. And like we talked about earlier, there for a while there was a lot of things on. You had to have your glass cleaned properly. You had to pour this particular way. You had to, and I'm not getting caught up in all that, man. I just want a beer and have some fun and talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just have But the one funny thing is, I'll just say this last, is that one of the guys that said, well, yeah, because I was saying Kroger doesn't really know what micro beer probably is. So they need to really have it taught to them a little bit better or something possibly. And one of the guys that said, well, they are certified Cicerones that they actually use for that. Well, the first part, even when you're going through the certified beer server, is knowing what a microbrewery is, which is even sad if they are certified Cicerones, because it tells you all the definition of what makes it. So why would you have those beers in the microbrewery area that don't fit that definition?
Yeah. There's probably some purists that are like, if you bought your beer in a Kroger in the first place, so we could have that discussion, like.
Now I will say our Krogers around here in Cincinnati, because we have so many local breweries, we have 40 breweries in the area. They do keep it well stocked with some craft beer, but it's just funny how if you're into craft beer, you're like, that's not a craft beer, that's not really a craft beer. Oh, there you go, So
yeah, because you could, if you're gonna go full, all the way snobbery, I mean. If you're watching me get my craft beer at a gas station, and you're a gas station, I would imagine the super hardcore purists are like, oh no, you've got to go.
Oh yeah, pretty
our
soon.
Stations have taps and they have craft beer. See, that's the thing. Cincinnati, you can find craft beer just about anywhere you would not expect to find it.
Yeah, because a lot of times I'll just go to the QT because the QT's got a damn good little selection of craft beer. You know what I'm saying? And they're right there. It's just the stupid gas station, but they've got a lot of stuff.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of local craft beer, and so yeah, now there's another argument there too, though. With you almost have to, stay up to date with all your beer blogs and all your beer news, because a lot of our local craft breweries are getting bought out by some of the big boys, and then the next thing you know, it's not considered craft beer now because they're owned by, such and such company, so you're like, oh, come on, man, I don't know, they're the same craft brewery to me. I don't know. That's a good discussion, though.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is once it's defined, and if everybody just were to somehow agree on this specific definition and to follow that rule, it would suck.
Yeah, but we have a legal definition of what is bourbon and what is other whiskey and all that stuff. So we have state codes and penal codes on that, or that we can actually look on regulations, see what defines what. It's just beers. Like in Texas, if you're over a certain percentage, you're malt liquor regardless. They just call it malt liquor.
Yeah, there's and I'll be interested to see what happens with that too, because the American craft spirit scene is really taken off, and so the more that takes off, a lot of these lines are going to get blown out of proportion too, man. Just like craft beer. I mean, what's a stout anymore? What the heck? Come on, you know what I'm saying? What's a, so all the pure, and that's a whole. But that we kind of expect snobbery with spirits, right? Spirits, the minute you get into wine and spirits, I mean, you got to hold a snifter like this anyway, don't you? I mean, the snifter is kind of, right? It's one of those.
You're drinking a brandy. What do you do with the pinky? You got it.
Yeah, you could even go another finger in there too, really make it, highfalutin. You know what I'm saying? You're like, But
you guys should get some pretty interesting dialogue at the Great American Beer Festival, though.
Oh,
so many guys. We got a beer fest this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah, it's
we get a little bit tipsy.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Any more rant or raves, man? And we're getting out of here. So this is way long. So do you have anything for us, Tom?
No, I have nothing.
I
ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay, yeah, I do want to put out another little tip though, and it's always or typically going to have to do with driving. Not always, but it typically will. And I just want to remind people, my tips are always going to have to do with nighttime, because I drive at night a lot. So I need people to turn their damn lights on. It's the same thing I'm going to preach all the time. I need people to turn their lights on. Turn your lights on. Even if you think you have automatic lights, you can see your lights on the dash because of these damn daytime running lights. Yeah. And all these new style of lights with the daytime running lights just make them look so bright that you just don't think. And man, it's even in the big trucks. I do it sometimes, and I have to, oh crap, are my lights on? And I've already driven 100 miles down the road. You know what I'm saying? But at least I do still have all my other lights going in the truck. In a car, not so much. I mean, your tail lights are the main thing, and man, when you're out there, nobody can see you, or you want to make sure that people can see you from behind. So, that's kind of the main thing. So just make sure your lights are on. It's one of the things about modern vehicles when they're trying to make things safe, and that's one of the things that has gone off. That's one of the prices being paid, is that a lot of the tech isn't quite keeping up, man, because I see a lot of vehicles every week, at least a couple of dozen, that just don't have their lights on, so they're fine, going forward, but from behind, a lot of people can't see us. Just double check those lights somehow and make sure they're on. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's. We had a lot of people watch the show tonight, so I really appreciate that. Everyone in the chat, man, we had a great chat as well, man. Just a lot of people tuning in. So, thank you for all the support. Love the support here, man. We're out here. We're 22 minutes long already.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
Always. Thanks for having me. Hey, great camera work on your new camera too. I like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll be doing more videos with that. I have it just right here off camera, so I'll be doing more, and I've got my lights in here now that I need for recording that right back there. So we'll see you guys, man. Peace out.
Have a good
All
week,
right,
guys.
see you guys.
See you, Joe.
See
All
you.
right, man. Whoa, it's not. There it goes.